Hello, it's another month, another Monday, and another chance to learn from our mistakes. It's March, and I'm more than a month into hybrid learning here in the health classroom. That means I've got some students present in person and learning certain days of the week, and other students remote learning on the screen. As that continues, there's obviously always struggles here in the pandemic era of education. I've noticed something that is a little bit alarming, a little bit concerning, and definitely worth bringing up this month. I thought that the students coming into school would be a lot more vocal. They would be willing to talk, willing to interact, willing to answer questions, and they're not. Now, that's kind of the crux of teaching no matter what year. We always want students to engage and be present in the moment, participating and having fun, really. Now, obviously, the flip side of that could be that there's some disruption happening. Maybe students are off task. There's always that chance, but in all honesty, I love a noisy classroom. Noise means that there's learning taking place, there's excitement, there's social interaction. It's usually a lot more fun. So I guess I just figured that any students coming in for in-person learning, for hybrid learning, would be willing to talk. And unfortunately, I'm just not seeing that. Something has happened in the last year of education where students, at least in my experience, have gotten to be comfortable sitting and looking at a screen. This could be occurring for a variety of reasons, and some of them good. Maybe this is a pushback on our current circumstances, and students are taking control on something that they can control in the world, and that's their voice. Somehow that quiet class and lack of interaction from online remote learning has leaked into our actual physical classroom. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always issues of student engagement. That's one of the most challenging tasks of teaching, no matter what year. That's why we're hired, in fact. But I guess I'm just not used to students sitting in a desk, mask on, staring without eye contact to each other or me as the teacher. Just not used to that feel in the room right now. It could be a numbers thing. A smaller class size might mean a quieter classroom. I'm just so used to having that question and answer, informal, formative assessment benchmarks throughout each unit that I teach. Anyway, to the point, my recent teaching mistake that I've noticed is that I'm pushing into that quietness. I'm pushing back on the students' pushback, and I'm creating a little bit of awkward silence. I'm not willing to give it up so easily, meaning I'm not ready to move on. I want to try and pry a little bit and get students to engage and interact, and it isn't working. There are times where quiet is necessary. You allow space to breathe. You allow some think time, and that quietness can be powerful. Obviously, that's not what I'm talking about here. So my mindful tip on how to respond to a very quiet classroom is to find common ground. Teachers know this anyway. Education is a give and take. So where's that middle ground? Meaning, if students didn't pick up on a particular question, just a prompt for thoughtful reflection, specifically out loud as a class discussion, where is it? What is the question that's gonna work? Without taking it personally, I realize I need to just find different questions. They're out there. So what is the cue that's gonna work? And recently I've noticed that if one question doesn't really prompt any responses, any interaction, then I need to move on. And I need to not have my own feelings hurt that they didn't like that specific question. Just move on. What's the next question in line? And can you draw positive attention to the moment where you finally get that bigger group interaction? This is extra work as teachers because you need to have a bunch of things kind of in your back pocket ready to roll out if necessary. Now, if you're like me and you teach multiple periods of the same class or the same grade level, one question, one prompt might work for a certain group, and then the next period, it might not. So to have that list ready and to just roll through without getting offended, without getting defensive as well, then that's key. That's the tip for this month. Find a common ground. I urge you to see how it goes in your own teaching. What I'll do is I'll put an example right in the YouTube description that you can look at right after watching this video, some question prompts about social health in particular, and analyzing influences in life. Okay, that's it for this week. I'll come back later in the month or maybe by April, look at another teaching mistake and a mindful tip on how to respond. No matter what your circumstances, I hope everyone is safe and healthy. And as always, thanks for tuning in.